GF admitted to cheating on me and now claims it was actually SA. Some background. My GF 26F and I 29M have been dating for 5 years. We have been friends since I was 16, as I was good friends with her brother at school. Once her brother and I finished school, we lost contact due to moving to different towns for university. I came back into contact with her after studying and in a new city for work. We almost spontaneously became good if not best friends again. We started dating after a year of getting to know each other, but due to work and her studies we were forced to move to separate cities again. We had decided that since we somehow found each other again, we will try make the relationship work long distance. I knew it would be hard and I assumed she did too, but I was committed to making sure I was in a stable position financially to set up a life together for when she was done studying. I have tried to be supportive as best I can with anything she wants to do with her life and whatever path she wants to take through all the ups and downs. 5 years in and we are finally in a good position where we are both ready to move in together. It has not been the smoothest journey and I admit to many mistakes and problems I have caused in the relationship that have no excuses. None of which I believe to be relationship threatening though. But of course that is just my point of view and I could very well be wrong. About 3 months ago on a Friday during one of our afternoon video calls, she lets me know that she is going out with her friends for one of their birthdays. I have never had issues with this, as this is a normal thing. I want her to enjoy her life as much as I believe she does for me. All I ask is that she lets me know when she is safe at home or at a friend's house, so that I don't worry about her safety. She lets me know at 3 a.m. that she is at her best friend's house and will be staying the night, as she is understandably too intoxicated to drive. I reply happy that she is safe. Normally I get a couple of messages after letting me know how the night was, but not this time. Later that day, I get a message saying she's not feeling well and that she is sorry for being quiet. I brushed it off as hungover, but next 3 days just seemed to be one-sided conversations with myself with very little feedback. I should say that I have been cheated on before, but I don't like comparing two completely different people and generally try give people the benefit of the doubt first, which is something she has actually complained about. I will admit, however, it was difficult to not let my thoughts wander, which I admit before knowing anything was wrong. The Tuesday evening after that very silent weekend, I get a phone call from her. I can hear she has been crying, but she is now trying to just compose herself. She almost immediately tells me that she cheated on me. Honestly, I was just stunned and I just replied, "What?" She then repeated herself. The moment is so vivid in my head, I don't think I will ever forget any moment of it, like it's burnt into my brain. This hurt far more than before, as this was someone I truly love and saw a future worth building with. After a long silent pause, she asked me to say something. I couldn't feel anything, like as if my life just drained from me in an instant. I then replied with, "I guess we are over then." She then instantly began begging me to stay and that she knows I will never forgive her, but that I should please not leave. She promised that she will be completely transparent with everything and that she will answer any questions I had with complete honesty. I sat for what felt like forever just listening to her beg and cry. For some reason I just couldn't put down the phone. I thought since she did come to me first before anything else and didn't hide it, I should at least hear her out. She then told me everything with a lot of detail. She explained that she was severely drunk. She was at her friend's house and there was another guy that came with someone she was talking to the whole night. The guy was best friends with her friend's BF and was down from another town and staying there for the week. Randomly, her friend and BF decided to go to bed, leaving them alone. She decided to make herself comfortable on the couch and attempt to get some sleep before the sun came up. This is when she messaged me. The guy then proceeded to make a move on her and she for some reason didn't stop him. She said there was no intimacy, just time, and after 5 minutes she stopped it. When I asked her why didn't she stop it before anything happened and did she enjoy it at first, she told me that she felt very lonely that night as most of her friends had their BFS and in that moment she enjoyed the attention. I won't lie, that answer really gutted me. I felt partly to blame, as I have always feared that being in a relationship with me would make her feel lonely, but I never thought it would push her to this. I silently broke down without her knowing and eventually just ended the call with, "I need to think about things." We continued to talk and I treated her more like a friend than being in a relationship, but I think she respected that as she just went with it. We continued to work through things and eventually after 2.5 months, I paid for her to fly up to me to actually talk in person about it all. At first things were okay. But after her flight back things got bad. We started fighting often. She started accusing me of things I do wrong all the time. What was worse, after our last disagreement, She has now claimed that she actually got SA'd that night 3 months ago and that I never supported her. Her entire story of that night has changed, and her claim to why she explained everything the way she did before was because she was just confused and didn't know what to think. Now every argument I feel it gets thrown in my face, along with other things like it's getting used against me. And if I question it, then I'm calling her a liar and am not supportive. I told her that if she truly believes that she got SA'd, then we must take it further, and I will support her by hiring a lawyer, or she could at least tell me where to find the guy. After all, what kind of man would I be to let a literal rapist get away with something like that, especially with the person I love? She then just tells me not to push her and I must just drop it. My issue is that for 3 months I have struggled with my own mental health and the reality that the person I love would do something like that to me after everything. And it took a long while for me to accept that reality and move on. But now I can't. Because not only has it changed, it is also now getting used against me. I honestly don't know what to do anymore, as she is still pushing to move in with me, and as much as I would like to move on and just accept what she is saying, something is not adding up. Any advice on this would be appreciated. Sorry for the long post. Update, thanks everyone for the advice. Decided to talk further and discovered some further truths. Told her that we will work it out if she tells her brother and father who she lives with. She did. I then proceeded to remove her from my life. Her father, who I was quite close to, phoned me to apologize and told me she has been kicked out the house. Thanks again. Story 2, my wife may have cheated. I don't have actual proof. I am sorry for the length. First, some background. My M30 wife, F30, no kids, comes from a large family. Both her parents have 6 to 8 siblings. From this she has many cousins and second cousins. The families have known each other for generations, so are close. The wife is very close to 7 or 8 women. The last few years there have been many marriages, including our own, and baby showers, which some have legendary status. I will explain below. All these gatherings are huge productions and well attended. Last weekend was a Christmas gathering. The family rented out a venue to fit everyone. This gathering was her mother's side of the family. Eventually, after going around greeting everyone, the close cousins settle in with each other and their so's. The conversation came around to a bridal shower that happened last summer. Because the family is so big, they had 2 showers. One hosted by the older parents, aunts, grandma. The other hosted by and for the younger relatives. The cousins started reliving the shower with much laughter. The so's we were just sitting there smiling as we watched them, enjoying the moment. One of the cousins started to start a story, pointing at another, but was hushed. There was an awkward moment with these looks between each other. Now the so's are curious, me included. We wanted to hear the story, but the subject was changed and any attempt to bring it up was shut down. I walked away to get some dessert and drinks. As I was hanging out by the bar, another of the so's came up to me. He asked if I really wanted to know what happened. Of course, I said yes. He took me outside. He pulled out his phone and swore me to secrecy. He had snooped on his wife's phone and found a short video of the shower. The young cousins and friends, about 20 to 25 people, shower had included strippers. Think dancing bear type. The video shows the guys dancing naked with the women laughing and screaming. The women were stroking them and some even asking. The video shows the stripper going down the line in front of each woman, seating on a bench along a wall. Each woman taking a slurp, some longer than others, or giving a HND job. The video is shot from the end of the line. In profile is my wife, she is third in line. Just as the stripper moved to the next woman, there was a large roar and the video scanned across the room to the other stripper. Then you hear, "Turn that off, no videos." The video ends. At the time I asked the wife about the shower. She said it was fun, but it was just a shower. She never went into detail. I dropped it at that time. Now with this news, months later, I am not sure how to handle it. I can't tell her I seen the video without revealing how I saw it. Should I ask about again if she got some guy's dick? Let it go. Our marriage has been rock solid for 5 years. There is another summer wedding next year. Story 3, do you think my wife has cheated on me? I found men's socks in my laundry that were not mine, and then months later I found a men's shirt a size larger than mine in my laundry as well. I asked my wife about it and she said it could be her dad's or brother's, and then I asked how would we have gotten their clothes, which she just claimed ignorance and pushed the assumption that it must be theirs. The shirt is of a type her dad or brother would wear, but I've never seen this specific brand of white ankle sock before. All of her family lives very close and we do exchange items a lot and her parents give us a lot of things they don't use anymore, so it is in theory possible, but I have not asked them directly if the items are theirs. It seems like a man would be in a hurry to leave his socks and later a shirt. My wife does all of our laundry, so is it that she just didn't identify these items as the guy's clothes, or did she just wash them with the rest of the clothes assuming they were mine because she is innocent? We have 3 kids, all of whom go to school and I am in and out of the house for work every day, so there is some opportunity for her to cheat. I've known her 12 years, so I can tell when she thinks a man is attractive, and there are 2 men I think it could be, but then again it could be anyone if in fact she was cheating. She has always stated strong beliefs against cheating and that the marriage bond is the most important thing, even more important than our children. However, over the past couple of years I've come to realize that she is timely repressed, as slowly I've been exploring certain kinks during intercourse that she is obviously into but never told me she enjoyed, and our time life was pretty vanilla prior to my pushing this exploration. These kinks include things like light spanking, holding her throat but not too firmly, pulling her hair, ass play, and telling her she's a bad girl. Out of nowhere during time I was asking her nipples and she told me to pinch them. I asked how hard, but I just kept pinching harder until the point it was like they were clamped in a vise, and she enjoyed every second of it. Again, this was out of nowhere, but she must have known she was into that before telling me to do it, because otherwise how the duck do you just decide you like your nipples pinched to the point they're going to be bruised? I also realized she's into quickies, as I've initiated them with her in different parts of our home. All of the kinks directly triggered orgasms during intercourse, but afterward she tries to deny enjoying most of them and is childishly embarrassed by the idea of being into that stuff, yet every time we have time I do these things and she gets off. So yeah, it's as if she needs to maintain this image in her mind of having these certain values as part of her identity, but she is actually timely deviant to an extent, so the very idea of me knowing her kinks is a threat to the image she projects. I'm telling you this because I know time repression can lead to cheating. She always wants me completely naked during time, so the guy would likely have taken off all of his clothes. What are everyone's thoughts on this? Thank you. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, take this shirt to your in-laws and say, hey, we somehow ended up with some of your laundry. If it's not theirs, then you have more reason to worry. As for now, nothing in your post suggests you shouldn't trust your wife right now. But in this subreddit you will just get people telling you she's cheating regardless. The answer to these questions here is always a resounding she's cheating regardless of what the story is. Op answer, Lamau, yes, you appear to be right. How embarrassing if they say it's not theirs. I think I will do this because duck it. Redditor 2, sounds suspicious, like someone else had taken close to the in-laws and ask him if it's theirs, and also check the phone, she's your spouse. I should have an open phone policy. If you don't still go ahead and check it, you're allowed to have privacy but not secrets. You now have reasonable doubt to check for secrets. Redditor 3, put cameras in the house. Before you do anything, get evidence. Once you've got that, then humiliate her in front of her family. Trust your gut. Story 4, he 26 meters asked me 24F to leave the apartment for a week because his family was coming. It wasn't family. I remember we had this conversation in the beginning of our relationship. We thoroughly discussed how we define cheating. As for me, flirting and above is cheating, emotional connections and seeking deep feelings with other people is cheating. His definition of cheating struck me a bit, because he told me that putting yourself in a potentially dangerous situation is also cheating for him. Basically, I asked a hypothetical question and he told me that if I were to be our pet, he would consider it unforgivable cheating. I was really shocked by his response, but at that time I just related it to him being super possessive. 3 years into our relationship, I started noticing that he went a bit cold. He had a lot on his plate at the time, and I tried looking at it from his perspective, but it still bugged me. I sacrificed a lot for him. We originally met in one city, but then he moved to another state for work purposes, and since my school offered online lecture recordings, I was living with him, while traveling to the university once in a while for academic matters. He was struggling with depression, and I was always there for him. I liked creating the comforting atmosphere, and was going out of my way to create the perfect home for both of us. In October, he told me that his uncle had to come to the city for some unexpected work trip, and he had no place to stay, so he offered his uncle to stay with him, and asked me to relocate to the school city for a week. It kind of triggered me, and we had a bit of a fight, but I figured it'd be good for me to go and catch up with academic stuff in person. Fast forward, when I came back, I saw a new pillow and women's shampoo and conditioner in the shower. My BF was into this kind of stuff. He used a lot of skincare, always had tons of hair products and sometimes did use female conditioners. I was still surprised, but he told me that he just pulled it out from his mom's stuff that she left when she visited him a couple of months before that. I grew suspicious but didn't have anything else apart from that evidence. So one early morning I went through his phone and found a conversation with one woman written as Ashley the wife and his contact's name changed. They were saying I love us to each other, professing their feelings and all of that, saying how destined they are to have met, and so on. Fast forward, the girl didn't know about me, and thought they were dating for 1.5 months already. Yeah, they were just going on cute walks and dates after or during work. Upon confronting, he admitted that he started feeling off about me, had some sort of a cognitive dissonance and wanted to break up but didn't want to hurt my feelings. Well, yeah, turns out she was that uncle because of which I was asked to vacate the apartment for a week. For him to properly duck her, probably. Surprisingly, when he got caught, he took all of his words back. Started crying like a baby, telling me he made the biggest mistake, and that's what helped him realize how much I mean to him. He was crying so bad that he almost had a heart attack, fainted, was throwing up and couldn't move or walk. All of which I had to observe with the fresh feeling of betrayal I uncovered. Later that day, going through his phone again, I learned that he was on Tinder throughout our whole relationship because, as he said, he was insecure and needed this fuel of validation. He told me he didn't sleep with them, but I don't believe anything he says as of now. Either way, he had the balls to tell me that his uncle actually came, and Ashley just slept over at his place a couple of times when the uncle left, but they didn't sleep because it's at that moment that he realized that she was ugly and cringe and it turned him off. Bingo, nothing adds up. Coming back to that early conversation we had about cheating boundaries, wow, the level of hypocrisy will amaze me till the end of the days. Edit, didn't mention that yes. I dumped him, of course. Story 5, my LDR GF cheated and lied to me and got SA'd by 2 of the 3 people she cheated on me with. This is going to be a longish post, so skip to the TLDR if you don't want to read all of. So exactly what the title suggests, my GF 19F cheated on me 18M throughout our first semester of LDR. We started hooking up in June of our senior year, and when it came for her to move away to college, she told me she loved me and wanted to do a LDR despite being non-exclusive the whole summer. I agreed, assuming this was her closing the relationship, and we've been dating ever since. She an amazing person, and I've never connected with another person the way I do with her, which is why I decided to do LD with her. However, we came back onto the topic of exclusivity in October, to which I assumed we were exclusive, but she said that we weren't. That was a shock, considering everything, but she ultimately told me that she hasn't slept with anyone yet and that she was willing to become exclusive. I told her to be completely honest with me, and that even though I might hold some resentment towards her for that I would appreciate the honesty and work towards overcoming that, since technically we never revisited our terms of exclusivity when doing long distance. She still said no, that she hadn't slept with anyone, and I believed her. Anyways, I plan visits, I make time. She goes to school in Philly while I'm in Texas, so it's hard, but I was willing to put in the effort. I visited her in September, flew her out in October, and then she came home for Thanksgiving in November. It was during the November break when I found out what she did, and then I confronted her about it. Immediately she broke down and started crying, telling me how sorry she was for lying and cheating on me. She told me the first 2 were while we were non-exclusive, and that the third one was completely her fault and that she didn't say no. This is where things get messy. She then tells me that the third one, let's call him Ethan, timed her, and that after it started she didn't want it to keep going, but he didn't notice, seem to care. He was apparently well endowed and hurt her to the point where she was bleeding and couldn't walk. This happened around early November and I noticed things were off. I didn't let her go into much detail, more so for her because I didn't want to make her relive that moment, but I didn't know how to feel, that my girlfriend was timed while cheating. It doesn't stop there though, and she then goes back to the second guy for emotional support. For context, he was in her friend group and were friends while they were hooking up, but she ended things with him after we were officially exclusive. So she goes to him for support, and she tells me that he used her for time despite being the only person she could take to her situation about. She told me she felt used by him, and that he would come listen to her sob, duck her, and then leave. She was non-enthusiastic about every second of it, but she was scared that her only support would leave if she didn't have time with him. She tells me all of this, absolutely destroyed with what was a mix of guilt, shame, and regret, and I don't know how to feel. I was shockingly calm throughout that entire encounter, and I offered her support where she needed it, and I sympathized and was there for her during her retelling me her stories of SA. She told me that I was her only anchor now and that she couldn't do it, at being life. I think she wasn't specific without me and begged me back. I broke up with her immediately after finding out, but she kept holding on and crying. I'm completely mixed on how to feel. On one hand, she cheated and lied to me, but not only that, had a whole situationship with one of her friends while in a relationship with me that continued after we were exclusive. It's insulting, the lack of respect that she showed me in our entire relationship. On the other hand, I still love her, despite everything, and I feel the need to be there for her when no one else can. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, bro, it's over, she continually cheated on you. Sorry, but the only guy she could talk to about the situation was someone she slept with before? Like, for real, sorry, but you don't know your GF and no one else really knows her either, but that her own fault. She doesn't have friends, she only has FWBs, and again, that is her own fault. Just take yourself out of this ductio situation your GF put herself in. She needs more help than you or anyone that isn't a professional can give her. Redditor 2, don't go back to her, don't be there for her, she doesn't deserve your support. She literally ducked around and found out. She put having time with these men over your relationship, and now she comes crying back to you for support when it goes to hell. Don't fall for it. Cut her out of your life, ghost her completely. What she does after that is neither your concern or your responsibility.